The displacement of millions of Syrian families across the border to neighboring countries. But as CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg reports from Jordan, thousands more go uncounted in the chaotic race for survival.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Syrian refugees you'll rarely hear counted. Syrian faces you'll rarely see. They don't live in official camps. There are no UN officials looking over their shoulders. An estimated 500,000, perhaps more, now living in Jordan, scattered amid the local population, hidden away.
It's now the weekend here and the streets are quiet, but on a typical business day, this commercial area would be bustling with activities, and the Syrians can actually blend in, making it almost impossible to know that there are families living behind these doors.
Here, 8 families to be exact. On each side of the corridor, there are 4 shops, each now with a family inside. Hamda al-Abdallah, her husband, and 3 children fled Syria nearly 1 year ago. She tells us the bombing had started at 11 p.m. Her father had just died, and she left her mother behind. The al-Abdallah family first spent 2 months in Jordan's Zatari refugee camp, but had enough and moved here.
Life inside the camp was very difficult. Very, very difficult. No one can live like that. The tents are so close to each other. It's windy inside. My children are getting sick all the time. I spent most of my days taking them to see the doctor.
Her daughter Jumana spends all day with the other kids. There are no schools in these halls.
I was playing with my friends Ruba and Hoda in Syria, but when we came to the camp, I had nobody to play with, just the sheep and goats. I had a ball and played inside the tent, but since we came here, I've been playing, and I made a friend named Bashir.
For the adults, life off the grid can be tough. Basil Al-Ali and his wife share this 15-square-meter room with their 4 children, ages 6, 4.5, 3, and 1. Watching scenes like this on the television feels like rubbing salt on an opened wound, but at least it's a distraction.
Being a refugee, I'm deprived of everything. I can only sit here. We can't move around. We are not allowed to work. We can't do anything that resembles normal life. How can that be? A life just sitting, eating, and drinking. As a man, as a human being, I don't feel my value if I'm not being productive. If I'm not doing something that makes me feel like I'm a part of life.
Every Syrian refugee in Jordan who registers with the UN receives a monthly allowance, around $35. The rent here is $200. A local charity helps make up the difference. It says it's now assisting some 4,000 Syrian families just living in this town. People like Fatma al-Abdallah, Basil's cousin. At age 54, she is a mother and grandmother. She first fled Syria to Lebanon 2.5 years ago, then went back. But when a missile fell on her home, right in front of her eyes, she came here to Jordan. Her family went elsewhere.
All I can do is cry, nothing more. I think where I was and where I am now, at this age. In Syria, I was surrounded by my family. Now we are all dispersed and I'm living alone. I don't even have a TV to see the news, to see maybe tomorrow the war is over and I can go back and see my family.
But that's not reality, and reality is all these people have. Hamda says she used to dream of building a home for her children in Syria. The dream has disappeared.
Suddenly, everything is over. Our lives are finished. They're meaningless. Is this a life? This is not a life, living in a store.
It might not be a life, but they acknowledge it's still one in which they're thankful to be alive. Roee, Ruttenberg, CCTV in Al Mafraq, northern Jordan.